Hello, I'm Cassandra Eve of Whole Woman. I'd like to introduce to you today the divine feminine archetype, Artemis, because Artemis is very relevant to the kind of phase we find ourselves in now, here in the UK in particular, as we're emerging out of a year of lockdown. I share Artemis in my work as Whole Woman, especially on retreats, and also through my latest book, Sacred Pathways, Discovering Divine Feminine Archetypes in You. So who is Artemis? Well, she's actually a moon goddess, and she's the maiden phase of the triple moon goddess. The maiden phase being the new moon. That's the moon that's being seeded by the light of the sun, but that is emerging from the darkness. So if you think about the new moon, we don't actually see the new moon until it starts to emerge. When the moon is new, actually connecting with the sun, it's in the light of the sun. So there's a light of new consciousness being seeded at that point. Then over a few days, the moon starts to emerge and express that new energy that's been seeding as she emerges and moves towards fullness. So Artemis is the new moon. She's that point of emergence from the darkness, which we could say is the transition, that edge we're on at the moment, where we've spent a year in a quieter place, perhaps for many of us, more self-connected, or the opportunity to become self-connected through facing the shadows of aloneness and a lack perhaps of social stimulus apart from through these kind of mediums, a lack of touch, a lack of physical connection with others. So what that period has for many of us, or those who are more awake perhaps, has caused us to go more inward and to explore, like at the dark moon. And over that period of a year, as we've been immersing ourselves more in the inner world, we will have developed new values that are calling to emerge and express as we flow through this next period of coming out of lockdown. So why is Artemis relevant to that period? And it's just amazing how it works, actually, because intuitively, when I brought this retreat, was calling to express through me, your wild feminine emergence came through as the title, and the archetype of Artemis was calling very strongly. Now, she is our connection to the edges, the edges of the new phase. But she's also about being free-spirited, about discovering deeper values within ourselves and the authenticity that is calling to express through that. So she's free-spirited, independent, can be an activist because she's a protector. She's a protector of nature, protector of the animal kingdom, and also of young girls in particular. So she bridges that divide between the aloneness, because she's also called to that in her moon guise. She's called to that deepening, that very powerful inward pull, and yet also to keep expressing and standing strong for what she discovers in that inner place, in that new moon phase. So she's an independent feminine spirit, and yet she's deeply self-connected and understands the value of the quiet, the dark, and the deep, as well as the new calling to self-expression. So we can see how she's strong at the moment in our psyche in terms of helping us to bridge this place between what some people would call normal, then the deconstruction of that, and now emerging into something so much more potent, potentially. So I'm introducing Artemis today because, as I mentioned, she is the archetype that we will be exploring on your Wild Feminine Emergence retreat in June. The dates are Sunday the 6th to Thursday the 10th of June in North Cornwall. And our venue is a beautiful house right on the coast path. It has sea views from every room, stands on its own, and it's just a mile from Tintagel, which is a place of myth and magic. We will be sharing through meditation, through awareness exercises, through movement, through mantra, in many different ways to open up this archetypal energy of the new moon of Artemis. And also we will be sharing and working out in nature as well, because using ritual. And it's very important because she represents that innate connection to the earth, to nature and her gifts, and to that inside ourselves, to our body, to our senses, and to the nurture that's available to us, and the deepening as we connect more deeply with the earth and with the gifts of nature. Part of that will be a visit to St Nectan's Glen, which, if you don't know it, is the most magical woodland, ancient woodland, and a river and a beautiful waterfall, or a series of waterfalls actually, that are connected to the White Spring in Glastonbury by ley line. So practical information about the retreat. It's 3 full days, 4 nights, Sunday the 10th of June, Sunday the 6th of June rather, to Thursday the 10th. It's half board, so that includes breakfast and dinner, and you can bring food for lunch or do your own thing and go out. We generally on retreat, we usually would have a full morning of sharing and exploration, then some free time, a good space of free time in the afternoon, and then gather together in the late afternoon, early evening. And of course, we'll have the beautiful light evenings on the coast of Cornwall, which is really vibrant in early June with all the wildflowers. It's absolutely stunning, and such a powerful reflection for the potential of that new place. So there are 1 or 2 spaces left. It's going to be a small intimate group retreat. So 1 or 2 spaces, and the rooms available are a twin share or a double room, sole occupancy. Prices start at $495. That's everything: your food, your accommodation, and the retreat. And the early bird date is the 4th of April, so that's coming up soon, and the price will go up after that by about, I think it's about £80 for the full price on top of whatever the early bird is. So if you're interested, if you're inspired, if you feel that there's a calling and that the need for support in treading this edge, in crossing this edge between the more inward phase we've had and the more external phase that's emerging, to help you stay deeply rooted to yourself, to your heart, to your calling, to your authenticity, then I invite you to get in touch. You'll find more information on my website, which is beingwholewoman.co.uk, or you can find me on Facebook or give me a call. So thank you for taking the time to watch this video.